Your Social Security check is about to change in July, not because of a new law, not because of your COLA. A quiet mid-year adjustment is going to hit your deposit, and unless someone breaks down exactly what shifted and why, you're going to stare at your bank statement wondering if someone made a mistake. They didn't. The system did exactly what it was designed to do. You just were never told it was coming. There are 3 changes landing on your check this summer. The first 2 will make sense once you see them, but the third one, the one connected to Medicare, reveals something that's been silently draining your benefits for years. And that's the one that made me pull up my own statement and do the math I wish I'd done a long time ago. Here's what most people get wrong. They think their Social Security check is set in January and stays the same for 12 months. It doesn't. Your COLA hits in January, yes. This year it was 2.8%, which brought the average retired worker's check from about $224 to $2,081. That was your raise, but your check is not locked in after that. There are mid-year shifts that change what actually lands in your account, and July is when several of them collide. What I'm about to walk you through is going to show you exactly where your money is going this summer. And by the time I get to the third change, you're going to see a number that puts every COLA you've ever received in a completely different light. The first change hits anyone who is working while collecting Social Security before full retirement age, the earnings test. If you're under full retirement age and earning income, Social Security withholds $1 for every $2 you earn above $22,320 a year. That's the 2026 threshold. Now here's where it catches people. If you started a job in February, picked up extra shifts in the spring, or took on freelance work, the SSA may not have been withholding from your check right away. They were watching your earnings accumulate. By July, when the year is half over and your income is on pace to cross that line, the withholding kicks in, your deposit drops, and you had no warning. I've heard from people who thought their benefits were cut. They weren't cut. The earnings test caught up to them mid-year. And the worst part is that nobody at Social Security picked up the phone to tell them it was coming. If you're earning any income while collecting, check your year-to-date earnings against that $22,320 number right now. If you're close or over, your July check is going to look different. But that's not the change that affects the most people. And what's happening with Medicare is worse, because this one reaches into your check whether you're working or not. Your Medicare Part B premium is deducted directly from your Social Security payment. In 2026, that premium jumped to $202.90 a month, up $17.90 from last year's $185. That's a 9.7% increase. Your COLA was 2.8%. Already you can feel the mismatch. Now, most people saw that new deduction start in January. But there's a group of beneficiaries who were shielded from the full increase by something called the hold harmless provision. If your Social Security raise was too small to absorb the entire Medicare premium hike, the system temporarily protected you from the difference. By mid-year, that protection can adjust. And when it does, your deposit shifts. Not because your benefit went down, because the deduction caught up. Here's what that looks like in real dollars. The average retiree's CORA added about $57 a month this year. The Medicare premium increase took back 17/9 of that, almost a third of your raise, gone before you bought a single thing. And if you think that's just a one-year problem, it's not. Medicare Trustees Project Part B premiums will grow at roughly 6.4% per year through 2031. Social Security Trustees Project COLAs will average about 2.4% over the same period. That gap compounds. Every single year, Medicare takes a bigger bite out of a raise that's already too small. Now put those numbers next to what you're actually paying when you leave the house, because this is where the government data meets your kitchen table. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the CPIW, the index that determines your COLA, rose 3.9% over the last 12 months. Energy prices jumped 3.8% in April alone, after surging 10.9% in March, the largest single-month energy spike since 2005. Gas is over $4.50 a gallon, heating oil is up 54.3%, coffee is up 18.5%. Tomatoes are up 39.7%, fresh vegetables are up 11.5%. I filled up my tank last Thursday and the total was $70. In January, the same tank was $52. I stood there looking at the pump thinking that's $19 a fill-up twice a week. That's $152 a month that didn't exist 5 months ago. Then I went to the store, and the coffee I've bought for 3 years had a new price I had to check twice. Have you noticed it too? That feeling of looking at a receipt and the number is just wrong, except it isn't wrong, it's just higher than it was last month. That's not in your head. The data confirms exactly what your wallet has been telling you. Your raise was real, but it was already too small for what came after it. And now here's the third change. This is the one I've been building toward, because this single number reframes every dollar I just showed you. The Senior Citizens League published their 2026 Loss of Buying Power report this month. What they found is something that should have been front-page news but wasn't. Compared to 2016, your Social Security benefits are worth 86.3 cents on the dollar. You've lost 13.7% of your purchasing power in 10 years. Not because anyone cut your check. Because the cost of everything around it rose faster than your COLA could cover, year after year, compounding quietly until the gap became a canyon. To recover that lost value, to get your check back to where it actually stood in 2016 in real purchasing terms, your benefit would need to increase by 15.7%. For the average beneficiary, that's $295.85 a month. You got $57. The gap between what you need to break even and what you received is $238 every single month. That is the hidden cost sitting underneath your July check, your January check, every check you've gotten for the last decade. It's the reason a raise can land, and by summer you're wondering where it went. It went to gas, it went to Medicare, it went to heating oil, it went to coffee. And $57 was never going to cover $295 worth of erosion. Now here's why this matters beyond just this summer, because the 2027 numbers are already moving fast. The Senior Citizens League is projecting a 3.9% CORA for next year, sharply from the 2.8% you got this year, and up from their own estimate of 2.8% just last month. Mary Johnson, an independent analyst who used to run their research team, is projecting even higher at 4.2%. 4 months ago, her estimate was 1.2%. That swing from 1.2% to 4.2% in 4 months is driven almost entirely by energy prices tied to the conflict in the Middle East. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget puts the realistic range between 3% and 4.5%. At 3.9%, your check would go up by about $81 a month. That's a bigger raise than this year. But does $81 close a $238 gap? It covers about a third of it. And if Medicare premiums climb again in 2027, which the projections say they will, a chunk of that $81 gets deducted before it reaches your account. The pattern repeats. And underneath all of this is the trust fund. The Congressional Budget Office moved its depletion projection for the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Fund to 2032, 6 years. If you're 60 right now, you'll be 66 when that date arrives. This is not a distant policy debate. This is your timeline. When the fund is depleted, Social Security doesn't stop. But by law, it can only pay out what it collects in payroll taxes, which covers about 77% of scheduled benefits. That's an automatic 23% cut that would wipe out nearly a decade of COLA increases in a single year. Congress can act. They did it in the 1980s. But right now, nothing is on track to fix it. That clock is not a forecast. It's a countdown. The official 2027 CORA will be determined by CPIW data from July, August, and September of this year. Those 3 months get compared to the same quarter last year, and the percentage change becomes your raise, announced in mid-October, effective in January. The next data release drops June 10th with the May numbers. Every report between now and September moves the needle. If energy prices hold or climb, the COLA pushes toward the top of that range. If oil drops, it comes down. But based on what we've seen through April, this is shaping up to be the largest adjustment since 2024. For veterans, everything I just walked through applies to your VA disability compensation as well. By law, VA rates adjust by the exact same CORA percentage, effective December 1st. In the next video, I'm going to show you something that's been quietly costing you money every single year, hidden inside the formula that calculates your CORA. There's a different price index called the CPIE, built specifically to measure what seniors actually spend on healthcare, housing, prescriptions, not what urban wage earners spend. If Congress switched to it, your annual raise would be higher. I'm going to break down exactly how much higher, show you the legislation that's been sitting on the table, and explain why it hasn't moved. That video gets to the root of why your check never keeps up, no matter how large the COLA number sounds on paper. If you're wondering why your benefits feel like they're shrinking, even when the government says they're growing, the answer is in that formula. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.